You'll be begging me to let you explode!
Welcome to the PrinnyCast Roundtable, a casual weekly show where we talk about what we've been up to in the various gaming... Wait, we aren't going to do the whole show in black and white, are we? That's better, thank you. Various gaming-related stuff from over the last week. We're your hosts. I'm Chris. This is Grover.
Hello.
This is Mike.
Hello.
And Edna's chatting with us through that newfangled technology called text messages. Yes, it's so brand new. And the sales this week have been crazy, with Humble Bundle sporting a new bundle every day this last week, as well as a whole other week after this one, so keep an eye on it every day. It's going to change. And GOG.com's Insomnia sales, where they pretty much put up something for super cheap, and they sell them all until that they have none left, and they go on to the next sale. But the rest of the bundles include the Humble Weekly bundle of platforming, with up to 8 games and different price points to nab. And Groupies continues with the Clash of the World bundles, and this time we get the good old USA bundle, where you get everything for a single buck. And the Bundle Stars graces us with 2 bundles. The first is a racing sim lover's dream with the Turbo bundle, 7 GT-style racing games with DLCs for only $3, and the Wild bundle with 7 various crazy titles for also $3. Lastly, there's the Indie Royale with the debut 13 bundle, which is 6 games plus 1 surprise one, that are all Steam Greenlight for what seems to be a straight price of about $2.50 this time. So much good stuff!
Good things.
Speaking of good stuff, what have you guys been playing, Grover?
Well, I played a lot of Final Fantasy 14, actually.
Ooh.
I got a VPN for it because it kept lagging out for no apparent reason because of Comcast. They think I'm file sharing, so they're throttling me. But I got the VPN, it stopped instantly. So yeah, just basically the same stuff as that in-game stuff. You know, I black mage up because I'm so sick of my damn healer. And then I played some Prison Architect, and that was that. I don't really remember what I was playing on that. I just continued a prison I'd already had, and it just got boring because I became a Nazi, and just every single day was cell searches, and when you do that, nothing happens because they can't do anything because you have become maximum security prison. Then I played SimCity 2013, and I don't know what the hell they're doing with this game. I can tell you about the dev stuff because there's nothing going on. Except for one mod, which I still won't name because I don't want us to get flagged and kicked off of YouTube.
Are you sure there's not still a non-disclosure agreement for nothing, though? If
there was, they were breaking it by not saying anything either, so we're screwed.
There you go. No, can't win.
Then I played SimCity 4, and that's fun because I'm still playing that vanilla. It's rough to remember how harsh it is to have power plants and everything in that game. Yeah, it's really expensive, and they degrade over time, like in SimCity 3, which wasn't a problem because it took a long time in 3. In 4, however, it's about every 30 minutes you gotta tear down your power plants to rebuild them.
Ugh.
You can go bankrupt so fast in SimCity 4 if you're not careful. But I played Sims 3, seeing a trend here, a bunch of sim games.
Yeah.
I am seeing that, yeah.
Just a bunch of playing with this one character, just doing the university stuff. I'm just about got him a degree to have him go do other crap, and that's it.
Smart little diamond floaty head thing.
Oh no, he's a lot like a lot of college graduates I know that they're graduated, they're still stupid as hell.
Oh. There you go.
They took business class.
It's like that joke about the college graduate and the teacher both competing for the same summer job as a waitress. There you go.
Yes.
So what have you been up to, Mike? Yeah, not Grover again. I already talked to Grover.
Grover, what have you been up to again? Got the obligatory WoW in there, and Diablo 3 saw a buff to the legendary gain, but I didn't notice it, so it only got me back for like an hour, and then I stopped playing again.
They made a big deal of that, too.
Yeah, they really did, but I went from getting like one every rift that I run to getting one every rift that I run, so no increase for me. And I even upped the difficulty, so they did give some pretty big buffs to Crusaders, and that was the class I played, so that's why I was able to up the difficulty. Other than that, I played a game called Mega Pony, which is a cross between Mega Man and My Little Pony. It was actually programmed pretty decently, so it's not bad. It was pretty fun to play, and I did actually play it and beat it, so it was fun the whole way through. There were some things that I thought that they programmed in a little bit cheaply, like, oh, this is just a cheap death. It wouldn't be in an actual Mega Man game, because I don't know why people remember Mega Man that way. It's not how I remember it. I don't remember it being where you have this unavoidable death sequence and then you know to jump next time. That's not how it was.
You could argue that there were certain places like that, because it was usually like those flash beam things. Most of the time, everybody got killed the first time through because you didn't know where they were coming out and what speeds, and you didn't really have time to look over where you were supposed to go. So you could kind of call that a death trap, but
one example,
beginner traps, but
yeah,
that's what Nintendo was for. I mean, they wanted to torture you.
I don't know. One example out of the mini games, though, it's just, I don't know. Anyways, it's still a good game. It's just more Mega Man Zero in terms of death traps than I thought Mega Man. I also started playing Saints Row 4. I got about 30 minutes through it. I finished the beginning sequence where you go up on the missile and then you crash down, and I finished that sequence, and then I was like, there's so many references to all these characters that I don't know, so I decided to go back a game in the series. I was going to start with Saints Row 2. I ended up picking the third instead because I didn't want anything that was like GTA. I'm not a GTA person. The only fun I've ever had in a Grand Theft Auto game was just using cheat codes to get a bunch of ammo and then shooting everything up without doing any missions.
And even that gets old after a little while.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I just don't find the missions to be fun in that game. It's just, it takes itself so seriously that, and I think the whole premise of the gangbanging thing is kind of absurd, so that's probably why I don't enjoy it as much.
Well, you might enjoy Saints Row 2 then, because it had the kind of humorous style of the older GTAs, where the fourth one kind of took itself serious. Yeah, GTA 4, that is. Saints Row has never taken itself serious from the very beginning.
That's good, because I wouldn't enjoy it if it did.
It's taken itself less seriously as it went, but, you know.
Those are the only games I played, though, because I spent most of my free time reading the new World of Warcraft book, which I read all the way through in 2 days. So what have you been playing this week?
Oh, a little more Ultimate, Marvel 3 and Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate, finally getting some use on my Xbox again. Did the Tynan and the Congregate things still. Keep checking on Clicky Clicker for no good reason, just to see if there's any updates to it, but thankfully there's not. And as far as the bundle stuff is concerned, I have gotten a few, but I've not actually played too much of them other than say, okay, this works, basically, or some of them get installed, some of them haven't yet. But there were a few of them that I got in one of the cheaper ones. Loot Hero, which I've actually seen on Congregate before, so I knew what I was getting. And the other two were Sinister City, and then an alpha version of Girl and the Robot. And neither one of those took very long at all to beat, so I kicked some tail this week.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there were games that I beat in like under an hour. And that's it. That's sadly it. Though I did finally get the Prinny Plays done. I fought the emulator as much as I could get it to work the best it could, but there's just no good way to get a 2D PlayStation 1 recorded, because the 3D stuff I've done before, it looked okay for like Parasite Eve when I did it off of the old capture card. But to do it on a 2D game, those raster lines get ridiculous and they get super blurry and it just looks awful for a 2D game. I'm probably spoiling what it is, but it was requested, so I think there you go. And since I found out, what was it, last week or the week before that I can't use my Elgato with it because apparently the resolution lines won't work through a standard monitor, it was irritating. So PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, those are going to be really, really hard to record from now on Saturn. But everything else seems to be recording just fine, so it just means I have to stay away from those a little bit more. And yeah, more computer issues. I got tired of getting all these games for Steam, taking the time to download them, and then McAfee, okay, I've learned the proper name is McAfee. It's going to be so hard for me to change saying McAfee. But anyway, it was removing the EXEs to these games off of Steam.
Wow.
Because it was thinking they were a virus. And because my McAfee has been pretty much dead for 2 years because the subscription to the new computer that I got from Dell ran out about that time. I never bothered to re-get it, but at the same time, it was doing its job in the background. But it kept doing this to these games and all the pop-ups and everything else. I thought, I have had enough of this. I am getting rid of it. Well, anybody that's dealt with McAfees before had pretty well knows that it is a beast to get off your computer. It is probably one of the worst as far as those are concerned. I know Norton's is pretty bad too. And stop popping at me, Mike.
What?
Exactly. But, so yeah, I got rid of that.
It's a nightmare.
I got me a Vera to try out, and my Firewall was basically acting completely nuts. If I left it on, I had no internet. Nothing at all worked. I couldn't even go to the page that would look up my modem. So, you turn the Firewall off, everything's just fine. But I'm not going to go around the internet, even as safe as I try to be, without a Firewall. I'm not going to do that. Not to mention there's a few things like VLC and Winamp and stuff like that. So, but I'd like to have the Firewall there, both as protection and to keep some of these programs that have no need of the internet dragging down my already poor internet. So I like having those exceptions blocking some of that stuff. So that was a major issue I had to fight, and Avira didn't help anything because it wasn't even 13 hours that I installed it, and it came back after a reboot, and all the personal settings were gone. And I don't mean just, okay, I have to, put in my name or whatever. No, there was no options buttons, there's no tools buttons. It was sitting there, but I could not activate it in any way, shape, or form at all.
Kind of like Open Office every time they update.
So I got rid of that sucker. Averi comes very highly rated, so that's why I went with it. And one of the reasons it's highly rated is it's easy to get rid of. And sure enough, it was uninstalled just like any other program. So thank you guys for at least doing it that way. But now I have Avast. Why do I keep pronouncing that with an ah sound? I got Avast. I'm not caring for all the pop-ups and the weird downloads in the background, but
It's odd that I have no virus protector at all. I haven't had one in like 5 years.
as long as you're still running okay, that's
I think it's probably it's just one of the benefits of vocational training in learning every aspect about the Windows operating system.
Yeah.
Certainly helps.
But I've still got my spy bot, my malware bites, and all that stuff too. So it wasn't that I was
I can live with
unprotected
malware bites.
if something did happen, but still. Oh, but how I basically got rid of the firewall problem? Vast didn't fix it. No. I basically went to Microsoft and had them reinstall my entire firewall. Woohoo!
Oh wow!
So thanks, McAfee. You did a great job.
You
That
worthless
sounds-
piece of shit.
Sounds fun.
And I guess that was kind of the topic, was that. But anybody else have anything interesting to say before we do that, though?
Negative.
Nothing other than I ruined a Hunger Game movie person's life by spoiling something from book 3.
No, why did you do that?
I didn't realize I liked the Hunger Games. I just started talking about it with somebody else, and they were sitting there, and I said a spoiler, and they sat there with just complete aghast, and I was just like, "Oh shit, you must watch the movies."
Oops.
It's like, read the books.
Dumbledore dies. Spoilers.
I hope you guys didn't watch the movies and not read the books, because that was a spoiler.
I haven't even caught up with the second movie yet, so
Been watching the movies and not reading the books, so.
Oh,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
yeah, that was a pretty bad spoiler.
On that note, follow us on Twitter at PrinnyCast, or you can contact us with email at PrinnyCast@gmail.com. So we'll see you all next week.
See you next time.
See you next time.